I was a obese teenager with a severe learning disability. Back then, they didn't have sort of the education tools they have now to help identify kids, and braces, glasses. And I was in the 80s, I was in drama. Like, just like so many slanderous things that football players can say about an actor.
Matthew Lillard has built a career that defies category. But his real story is not just about Hollywood credits. It's about failure, grit, friendship, reinvention, and impact.
It sounds ridiculous to sort of call yourself, an outsider, somebody struggling, but I've been that my whole life.
Those are the things that have created every bit of your success, as we know, right?
So self-identifying as somebody that is broken, that is different than everyone else, at the end of the day became this like really powerful thing for me, which was I would walk into an acting, an audition or a class and have zero fear with saying I'm an actor. And that's the first step into sort of owning that power. You have to say this shit out loud.
My name is Mark Brand. You are listening to Better. I'm a social impact entrepreneur, so I build businesses that are in service to the greater community. So Better was formed to be a tool for everyday advocacy. I think anytime we take people's attention, we have to give something. Folks, welcome back to Better. This is our new format. In between interview weeks, we are going to be having these discussions that are really a little bit of a dissemination of what we've just got to listen to prior to you getting to listen to it. So I know I say this every single time, and I think it's okay. I think format-wise, it's okay to repeat yourself, but this episode, it covers so much in around wisdom, humility, process, rejection, how to walk in integrity, how to be 100% yourself. And, Matt and I have been friends for a long time. Madison, I just want to jump into you. So I'm just going to hand.
So I can talk, okay, to speak to my experience before the episode, pre-episode, I know Matt Lillard from obviously the Scream movies. Iconic Stu Macher, and then more recently the Five Nights at Freddy's movie that I grew up playing that video game. So now it's obviously the movies, and they're amazing, and the second one comes out this year, and I see Matt as a superstar. Then we go to the podcast, and to realize the type of person he is, stripping back the actor, kind of like all of his roles, and finding out who Matthew Lillard is made me like him even more.
I knew you would. This is one of those, I rigged the deck here fully. So Matt and I meet each other like 8 or 9 years ago. We're at a leadership thing, and him and I are become inseparable. And we become inseparable as our teenage selves almost. We're playful, right. We're in this very serious, global, world-changing, serious and fun thing. And immediately afterwards, I don't know, let's see, 3 months later, he reaches out and he's like, hey, can you come help me do this thing in Los Angeles? I want to help create a facilitation piece where we take people who are doing work like yours, focusing on brown and black women in Los Angeles, and bring people and resource around them. It's an immediate yes. I'm like, yes, man, of course I'd do that. And our story just continues like that for the last 7 or 8 years. And so of course, I know Matt from Screen, from Scooby-Doo, from
Scooby-Doo,
The Descendants. He has done some roles that are Emmy-worthy as well. He plays this incredible duality and villain, but he's also created the most successful post-market Dungeons and Dragons company. He's got this incredible entrepreneurial spirit and hustle. So I've always, known him as a friend because we were immediate friends, but the way that he impacts and walks in the world is perfect for Better. So this was always going to happen. I think I just needed to get to the maturity level as an interviewer and holding the space to really be able to have that conversation with him. And I know we just did it.
Oh my goodness, did you ever? And the layers of this episode, I wrote down different title names too. And there were so many different layers. I was thinking too, I'm like, how can you even begin to sum up this conversation? There was mentorship, and there was being your authentic self and speaking out to those young people like myself who really don't know where they're going. What does authentic self even mean? To layer, to talk about that. You hear people saying, be yourself, that's the best you can be. But it's what does that mean? I think this episode specifically, I understood what that meant now. I want to do some crazy life-changing thing now because I feel so motivated after that conversation. Like seeing yourself and how you move is something that Matt had said. And that really, I don't know, that really resonated with me. I'm like, yeah, how do I see myself like that? So
That's beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful reflection, and that sentence is really, really powerful. So what were some of the titles that you came up with? Let's land on one in real time here.
so I liked give yourself permission to be messy. I thought that was kind of silly. Like as like a young person, you always hear like, oh, messy and this and that. People talk about it, but like, I don't know. The whole show really like dissected everything and like what does being messy mean? What does failing mean? And like those types of things I played around with as well. Like when I was writing down notes and everything, I'm like, what does it mean to fail? You know, what the consequences? You had an amazing story about, what's the worst that could happen? You've probably already been through it. Like what's the worst that can happen? And I think about that, like, I flew recently and, the whole Air Canada strike, and I was like, "I'm not gonna make it to Toronto, my life's over. This is" okay, I don't fly, I drive.
Sure.
Life goes on. It's gonna be
Yeah.
okay. Like, you don't have to take things so seriously all the time, and I mean,
Your
that's
success is gonna be defined by it. And so I think
yeah.
that is definite some takeaways from this episode is like so the subtext for this entire show is tools for resilience.
Yeah,
And people are like, what does that mean? It means you figure out quickly that you can drive to Toronto and you make an adventure out of it. Your life is
exactly.
an adventure. It's this one beautiful, complex adventure that you're on every single day, an opportunity to make it fun, exciting, and engaging, no matter what you're facing. And the thing of it is like, it's all messy. It's all hard. It's all as hard as you're going to make it. So whatever you focus your attention to is going to go to that. So, I mean, Matt, of anybody
Yeah.
as an A-lister has been like dragged through it, kicked through it, and lived through it, and lived in the big egoic superstar thing and realized, wait a second, that's not me anymore. I have to adapt. I have to change. And so that's the like macro of what you're talking about. And the
Mhm.
micro of that is like your everyday decisions in and around, am I going to try and really structure how I show up? And like when people say like put on a front or put on a facade or that
Yeah.
person is hard to connect to, that is rampant, right? Is like you see somebody how they portray themselves on Instagram, then you meet them in real life, and you're like, oh, you are missing so much of how amazing you are as a human.
Yeah.
Like, how just be you. Can you just like shine through in that? And I think our youth and Matt and I, we dug in deep on this episode, but perfection is something I like to talk about a lot and how it doesn't
Mhm.
exist.
Yeah.
It people are like, wait, no, I've had the perfect dish. Maybe for you, but I could line up one dish in front of 8 different people and somebody will call it perfect. And on the other end of that spectrum, somebody will be like, oh, that was way too salty and I didn't like like the way the textures worked, etc.
Yeah.
Perfection is in the eye, as they say, of the beholder. And so there's no such thing. And chasing it is a fool's errand. So, I mean, I have to process this last interview for the next day. Like I got to tap out and
Same.
like just, my God. And we talk often. Like the bars that were dropped in
Everything.
this interview, it just, I think it's really important. And I just, thank you to you and the Podstars team for always creating the container that allows me to show up as my best because I worry about nothing in these sessions, which allows me to just flow. And boy, did we flow.
Oh, so good. It was so good, and it's one of those episodes that, like, I can't wait to share with my friends because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, you know him from this? Look at the type of person you're actually supporting because he is awesome." Like, you can be
Right.
proud to have him on your show, proud as a friend. I mean, like, how amazing is that? And I did find something funny too. He would ask you questions, and I couldn't help but laugh because I'm like, "You do that to me too," where you're like, "Oh, what did you think of X, Y, and Z?" And he was doing that to you. I'm like, "Oh, this is like
Oh, yeah.
everyone's having conversations, like, it's just I don't know, it was such a great environment to be behind the scenes and be a part of as well, like, I loved it. I have no other way to put it.
The I love all of that. And I think the definition of a true leader and their ability to be a real friend too is we got on our pre-interview call and he's of course asking about everything that we're doing and what we're doing in Nova
Right.
Scotia because he's particularly excited about it. And he's like, I'm
Uh-huh.
asking you on the show. I was like, no, just leave it. Like they're not there for that. And of course he's not going to leave it. He's like, no, because it's important to him as my friend and also as a leader to be like, hey, this stuff matters. And I think, it harkens back to season 1 it was a little more conversational at points in season 1 where Jan Arden is asking me as many questions and George Strombo is asking me as many questions as I'm asking them, because we're friends and we work in the same sphere of impact in different ways. And so they're
Right.
genuinely curious. And the point of the show was not to be the same interview back and forth questions and like then the
Mhm.
critique on the responses or talking heads. It's so boring.
Oh my God.
No
And I
offense
mean,
to everybody.
no, totally. And I mean, I've obviously like I was a fan of Matthew Lillard like before, he came on the show and everything. I've seen his interviews and some of his podcasts and stuff. And this was so different. Like everything I've seen was just press for different shows and everything like that. But he was explaining all of his characters but also bringing it back home too. And like I'd never seen him talk like that before. And again, I'm a huge fan. Like I've seen his other interviews, and this I can say with my whole chest was nothing like I've seen before. So
We love to hear that. And I think, folks, we would typically talk a little bit more, but I think we're going to mic drop there. Like,
yep.
just be excited about this. It's if you think you understand the way people show up in Hollywood, there is another archetype. There's a like iconoclastic archetype here that is so powerful. And this is, when I say these things, they're super authentic. When I'm like, I've been waiting to have this conversation this way, it's because I want you to see these people who I get to interact with, who I consider friends,
Hell yeah.
who are some very close friends like Matt. I want you to see the other side of that, because there is such terrible leadership and exemplifying of like how you move in the world. We need more of this. We need more Matt Lillards, more Bun B's, more Nadias. We need people to see, kids in particular and youth in particular. You don't have to be the American president, be the worst possible human being on the planet.
Yeah.
You can actually be really wonderful and be successful. And in fact, we need you to be. So I feel like we should leave it there, because the episode's going to do the work for us.
I was just going to say, yep. Mic drop.
All right, folks, get ready for Matt Lillard. You're not ready, but get ready. Clear your calendar. Don't multitask. Get the headphones, go for a run or a walk or something while you listen to this one, because it's special. Thank you, Madison. I'm Mark Brand, and you've been listening to Better.